Hi, this is the Crazy for Cult podcast. I'm Vanessa Cozini, and I'm crazy for all things cult. With me is my co-host, Stephanie Bray. We are uncensored, unscripted, and slightly unhinged. There will be spoilers. There may be blood. Today we don't have any guests, except for maybe Fergus, who will occasionally come in and out of frame. We're fairly certain of this fact.
It's her world. We just are allowed to feed her.
And hey, she's hosting us, in a way. So, a little bit about the podcast is, this is new for both of us. I've always liked everything that falls under the cult umbrella, and I consider the cult umbrella to be what it was 10 years ago, before geek was chic, and everybody went to Comic-Con, back when you can get a ticket the day of. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I wasn't going then, basically.
Now you can, and now it's even more expensive. So, the cult umbrella I consider to be sci-fi, fantasy, horror, superheroes.
Fun B movies.
Fun B movies. Indie movies, especially indie movies. I have a very soft spot for random indie movies that never made it to the theater.
Ooh, that could be interesting or entirely scary. I'm not sure which.
I'm going to go with both. I like both. Both is good. So, Steph, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've always been a geek, nerd, whatever you want to call it. I played with Star Wars toys. I had Star Wars sheets. You know, one of those. I've always grown up liking sci-fi fantasy. A Wrinkle in Time was actually the first book I remember truly thinking it was in the sci-fi fantasy genre. You can find me at Steph101 on Twitter, and occasionally I write for fangirlnation.com, covering music. Usually, occasionally, I cover things like...
You covered conventions?
Yeah, I did the Stephen Amell panel at Phoenix Comic-Con, which, by the way, wonderful con, despite the fact it's in Phoenix.
I always find it interesting when certain conventions just choose to do it at certain times, like WonderCon always goes with Christmas, or no, Easter. One of those Christian holidays. But yeah, so...
Yeah, Phoenix Con was actually really nice, except for making us go outside.
Oh, how dare they?
It wasn't great.
We don't do heat,
no,
generally speaking. So, a little bit about myself. I also have been a geek all of my life. My dad got me into X-Files as a very young age, and that's actually where I fell in love with everything that I hold passionate to today, from sci-fi to good writing and good plots. I think X-Files really spoiled me for expecting more of TV and movies with plots and, you know,
yes,
not treating their audience like they're morons.
Not all of X-Files, just
yeah.
Let's go with that.
Okay. Yeah, some of the later stuff, but
Yeah,
that show's out for 10
movies.
years. We don't count the movies. We just don't.
One of the movies was okay. The last one was a bad thing. Just green.
Yeah, that wasn't too good. No.
And I'm willing to take the hit on that if anyone wants to try and fight me on it. Go for it. Because seriously, I walked out of the theater, looked at my best friend, and said, that fanfic got on screen, and then had to explain what fanfic was.
My dad, who doesn't know what fan fiction is, biggest X-Files fan, actually have a big old poster in our living room of what Mulder had.
Poster.
Yeah, I Want to Believe, and that just made his day. He hates that movie with a passion of 1,000 burning suns.
Yeah.
So,
but she agreed with me. She was like, that was kind of written by a 14-year-old. I'm like, we're giving them too much credit.
yeah.
So
So a little bit more about me. I'm crazy, obviously. That's why I'm calling myself Crazy for Cult. And also, I enjoy conventions and blogging as well. I am a co-host on Ben Lee's Part-Time Movie Guy podcast, where we talk about all things geeky and some things not so geeky. We did a football episode. We've done 2 football episodes. Look at me, being all out of the box. So, yeah, so you can catch us. I'll give a link down here later. Catch us over at Ben's Part-Time Movie Guy podcast. So, what we're doing today is The Losers and The Avengers. both Marvel movies, both ensemble movies, both team movies.
Both with Chris Evans.
Yeah, in very, very different capacities.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd like to just go on record and say I like Chris Evans in Losers much more than I like him in Captain America.
Again, both of us agree, though, that Cap is not necessarily our favorite character. I respect...
He's a Boy Scout.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be, and that's fine. I am just not drawn to him as a character. I like him in the movies. I can't say never, but I will probably never read a Captain America comic book.
And she has a huge comic book collection. I have a small comic book collection, but a large comic book knowledge.
Yeah.
So, let's choose which movie we're going to talk about first.
Let's talk about Losers.
Let's talk about Losers. We just got done watching it for the fourth time?
Second, for me.
For me, probably the 18th. I rewatch a lot of movies.
It's a lot of fun. Originally, when it came out in the theater, I had no desire. Part of that was because of the way the trailer was cut. Interesting thing, they had a trailer for Inception before this movie. Inception, one of my favorite movies for a multitude of reasons. Not in the least that a friend of mine coined it's Stephanie's personal porn, as it has Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tom Hardy. Inception completely looked like it was about nothing other than Leonardo DiCaprio and Ellen Page.
Which
it's not. But again, that was how the trailer was cut, and how the trailer was cut originally for The Losers didn't make me want to see it, but I actually enjoyed the movie. It was fun. Things blew up. I'm a big fan of things blowing up. Huge fan.
Yeah, we're girls that like action movies.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It seems to be something people don't readily think of, but you'd be surprised how many women love a good action flick.
I get my love of action movies from my mom. My mom was ecstatic when she got to go see... What did she go see by herself? There's been a couple of movies she's gone to see by herself because, while she loves my stepdad, they have completely different movie tastes. If Lifetime is on in the house, it's not because she's watching it.
Oh. Yeah. Role reversal.
Yeah. So she went to go see Guardians, and she really liked it. She didn't like it as much as she did in Avengers, but again, she was like, things blew up. I really liked the characters, and it made me cry. I so wasn't expecting that. But Losers actually is a lot of fun. The characters get your attention from the beginning. They're engaging. You can remember their names, and yes, that's a big deal.
It is. It really is. I've actually watched many movies where I've had to watch them a couple. Inception was one of them, where the girl's name, it's not a common name. Ariadne. I'm not going to remember that. I'm sorry. I don't readily remember names that I've never heard before, and I don't think they said it enough times in the movie.
They didn't. And the funny thing is, her name is actually very important when it comes to the movie because her name is involved with the myth of...
Oh, yeah. I did hear about that.
And it was all done deliberately because of what the plot of the movie was. And anyway, we're going to save that for when we watch Inception.
We're going to be doing that in another podcast. So Losers, I just wanted to say, in the first minute, you know exactly the type of movie you're going to be watching. Yeah. Because, and just, I gotta love how Jensen, Chris Evans' character, has his little shadow puppets of a dinosaur and Godzilla, and it looks like Godzilla's gonna top the dinosaur. Yeah.
And okay, it has Chris Evans. It has Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It has Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, one of your favorites.
Yeah, and actually we should do Pacific Rim, which is yeah. Anyway, no,
not a fan.
But it's a fun movie.
It's also a very diverse movie.
Yes.
I really enjoy the diversity because you don't have a token black guy.
No.
You have two major African American people, two major white-ish, Caucasian, whatever you want to call them, and then Cougar. What is Cougar? Is Cougar Mexican?
I think so, but
he's kind of Latino, and you don't really need to know.
It doesn't make any difference. They cast who was right for the role. And then you have Zoe Saldana, who just kicks ass.
Oh yeah, love her.
The one thing that both of us weren't crazy about,
the villain. Max.
And, okay, Jason Patric, amazing actor.
Oh, absolutely.
Really is. However, his role, I don't know if that was how he was told to play it, but it was cartoonish and over the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this isn't giving anything away because, okay, he's the bad guy. I really wanted him shot way before. Just kill him now. He's a tool.
He was a tool, he was annoying, and all the scenes that he had were just... you kind of find yourself rolling your eyes a bit.
If he had a mustache, he should have been growing it.
Yes, that is a perfect way of putting it.
It was... And I mean, he's a fabulous actor. You know, Rush, and playing Lost Boys. But he's a good actor. It just kind of... It leads me to believe that that's how he was told to play it, because I can't see him deliberately choosing to go that far over the top.
That, and a lot of times the way a script is written.
Yeah.
I think the way the script was written, I love the writing for what they chose to do with The Losers, which is a group of the guys that, they're ex-military now. They were military, they
contracted the CIA.
Contracted CIA, and they had to give a payload, which is a bomb, to this one area, and then they saw that there were kids there, and they tried to cancel it, and that's what really starts the whole movie. They end up going rogue, basically, and they're trying to clear their names. Not actively at first.
Yeah. It's just one of those movies. It's an action shoot-'em-up movie. It has roots in comic book, which actually, funnily enough, I saw this weekend. The comic book.
Hey, cool.
Yeah.
I own the comic, and I gotta say, the way Watchmen comes to life on screen is the way this one comes to life on screen. It is page to movie, almost identical. And I don't know how.
That's my big criticism of Watchmen.
I know, it's everybody's big criticism of the Watchmen. That's what I say to that. They had an idea, they went with the idea, I give them respect for that.
Mm-hmm.
We won't talk about that.
No.
So Losers, basically, what I loved most about it was the fact that you had all of these different dynamic people that all had a very specific job skill set. And their skill set worked together when they were working as a team for the CIA. It also worked when they were trying to get to the bad guy to clear their name. The way they work together it's a very cohesive unit. It's the opposite of Avengers in a lot of ways, because Avengers, it takes them a while to get together, and that's some of my criticism for that movie. This movie, you start out with the team is already playing blind man's bluff, and they're betting with weapons.
Okay, and this is where I'm gonna... The Avengers were never a team. They were individuals who came together. These guys always had to work as a team. And there's a big difference between an established team and a group of very...
Egomaniac-ish?
No,
some ways.
loners.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Hawkeye's not an egomaniac, Black Widow's not an egomaniac, the Hulk isn't an egomaniac.
I can actually argue that, but we'll argue that when we get to...
But it's a completely different dynamic of, yes, they're both ensemble films, but...
In the most different type of way.
Yes.
This one, they're established. They're pretty much a mini family in ways, especially at the end of the movie, which is quite beautiful in my opinion.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
Chris Evans, actually, if you have never seen him do comedy,
I think that's his best thing.
Absolutely brilliant.
I think comedy is his absolute comfort level. He just goes for it, and
he's great as Captain America. He really is. I haven't seen him. I did see him in Fantastic Four, and that wasn't his fault.
He was funny in that, though.
He was funny.
He was actually the highlight of that for me.
Yeah, it fell under a couple hours of my life I will never get back.
Oh, no, don't tell that to Jonathan. My best friend, who you'll be seeing in a few weeks, one of his favorite movies. Don't ask me why. Ask him when we see him.
I actually would like to ask him that.
We'll put you on the phone during our podcast. So, why don't we talk about the cinematography for a minute? Cinematography is beautiful. It is so well done. In fact, I even said, "Are we watching a Guy Ritchie movie?" Because it has that
It
feel.
really does. And there were also moments that it made me think back to Sin City, which I just saw too. This did what I enjoyed in the first Sin City. Like, there were layers of color, and it highlighted. And there was one scene specifically with rain where it went from rain to like red, echoing blood in this very short transition. And in Sin City 2, which I like.
Haven't seen it. Spoil.
I'm not. No. It felt almost forced in places.
Okay. You get that a lot with sequels, though.
Yeah.
So, what I liked most about the cinematography, and this is going to sound a little weird, bear with me, the sex scenes are wonderfully done. I'm actually not watching them for, what they're intended to be, which is, ooh, sex, yay, let's look at them be naked. I'm actually looking at it from that's such really gnarly artistic choice. I love that, because it reminds me a lot of Rock and Rolla. How it's cut, how it's put together, the music, the timing, the pace, everything it's a work of art. It really is.
Yeah, and it highlights the action scenes, but yet isn't as cut as Guy Ritchie tends to do.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that, and there were some nice artistic angles. There were a couple of the obligatory, let's shoot a mirror and film it and see what happens, but that's pretty much in an action movie. It's a cheap, easy shot, but they did it well. And there was one particular scene within the mirror breaking where they did a nice
where
shot.
the mirror was the ceiling and
Yeah.
it comes down.
And there was one piece they focused on Zoe Saldana, and they were showing her ass as she was getting away. But it was more of that was a great shot.
Yeah.
And me, then, look at her, you can see her mirror. It's like, come on.
There's something for everybody that's over the age of 14.
Yeah.
I do stress that.
It's a lot of fun. It's action-packed. It's
also
soundtrack.
very tasteful, I find, because at the beginning of the movie, they have to, a bunch of kids end up in an explosion. They do not show you body parts or things of that nature. They show you the teddy bear.
Yeah.
And it's emotional, and that's all you need, and they know that. They know when too much is too much and when enough is enough, and that's really rare. It's very, very rare.
Especially for action movies. They tend to err on the side of, let's show you everything and kind of gross you out.
Yeah, that's this. I don't care for gore. I don't care for blood and guts unless it's either very funny or it has a real honest-to-God point.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy the movie for what it does and what it doesn't do.
Soundtrack's amazing.
Spider-Bait.
Black Betty, yeah, it's just, they did the music very well. Sorry, Fergus is being particularly cute and camera shy, at least for the moment.
You can pick her up. Only she can pick her up behind you. Say hello.
Say hi, Fergus.
Hello. Don't scratch me. Don't claw my eyes
And
out.
she's done now.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Got a tail swinging in the background.
Yeah.
So, what we loved, cinematography, story, characters, characterization.
Most of the acting.
Most of the acting. Most of the characters.
It was written by Peter Berg, who is got a pretty decent hand when it comes to writing action scripts.
What we didn't like, Max.
Yeah.
He was cartoonish in nature. He was
Over the top. And really bad suits in a couple of scenes.
Oh yeah. Who put him in those suits?
I don't know.
If this man has $400 million, he can afford a better suit.
Yeah. So that was,
They make a point of telling you how much money he has.
Yeah, he didn't dress like it.
So, overall, I would suggest.
Yes, definitely.
2 thumbs up, 4 thumbs up. I actually remember suggesting this to you.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, you should really check out this movie, it's really cool. And you were just like, and then I told you who was in it. And you were like, ooh.
Okay, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, yes.
Papa Winchester.
He is still Papa Winchester.
He will always be Papa Winchester.
But, yeah.
He's great. And what's your favorite scene of the movie?
I actually like the last.
Last scene?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the last scene or the...
No, we're talking, we don't want to spoil it, but we're just going to say petunias.
Petunias!
And when you see it, it will make sense.
Absolutely. My favorite is Jensen getting into the elevator. Chris Evans plays Jensen.
Don't give it away, let them be surprised, because it is
The
a wonderful
world's
thing to be.
best way to get an elevator to yourself.
Yeah. One that I wish I had thought of.
Many times.
Yes.
So, are we good with Losers and ready to go to Avengers?
Yes.
Avengers, which I haven't actually seen in a little while. You saw it more recently than I did.
I practically,
It's
I use it as background. Really, I have no complaints with the Avengers overall. Again, they were individuals who were forced to work together. And when that happens, you have sometimes difficult times meshing of personalities and dividing of work and whatnot. Where the Losers, they were truly a united group. These were individuals who were working toward a common goal.
I did feel getting the group officially together took longer than it should have. I understood why.
Mm-hmm.
I respect the catalyst. If you haven't seen it, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So we are going to spoil this because, seriously.
It's been out for, what, 2 years?
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it and you're watching this podcast,
Did you stumble on us by accident? If so, hi. And really,
welcome to Geekdom. It's a fun place.
Go watch the Avengers.
Yeah.
And come back.
Even my mom's seen the Avengers, and that's about the only superhero movie she's
I
ever
actually took my mom to see it, and she didn't really want to see it.
seen.
And so we're sitting there, and
Did we convert her?
and the infamous cookie scene
Ah.
occurs, and she leans over and says, "We're seeing this again, Mark."
Yeah, I think I actually saw it with my dad. I usually do go see certain Marvel movies with Dad because he's also the one that got me into comics. Don't remind him because it's a sad, sad story, but my dad had first edition when they came out, comics, in pristine condition.
I actually bought my dad Avengers, and we were watching it, and the Black Widow scene at the beginning. Nice. And when she just beats him with the chair, he goes, "I like that woman." Hey.
You can't not.
No, and putting Coulson on hold when he's like,
Yeah, it's just
it's just a happy. But yeah, granted, it takes a death to unite the Avengers.
yes. And Coulson is such a beloved character that he got his own show.
Yes.
I remember we went and saw Much Ado About Nothing together, and Clark Gregg is in that as well. And we went to a viewing of it where the cast and crew came out to talk about it afterwards, and I couldn't contain myself. This was before S.H.I.E.L.D. came out. This was after Avengers, and I go, "Coulson lives!" And he just goes, "Thank you." He's the sweetest man. He really, truly is.
And it's just a testament that he is so beloved in the universe that when he was killed in Avengers, Joss knew he was going to take flack for it, and later he's like, "By the way, not my call. This wasn't requested by me."
And then us Buffy fans go, "Of course he killed Coulson."
Yeah, because, Joss kills everybody.
Yeah, whenever you sin, Joss kills a character.
Yeah, he's there. He let some live who I was really hoping.
Yeah.
But that's
anyway,
for another day.
we digress.
So I have really no complaints with the Avengers.
No criticisms whatsoever.
Not much. Little nitpicky things.
So nitpick. I like nitpick.
Well,
I mean,
I'm trying to think.
while you're thinking, why don't I get my criticism?
Okay.
I have some. I always do. I'm that horrible person that read too much of the comic and went in going, continuity. No, you can't do this, you can't do that. But on this one, not so much. I will grant. I did not have many continuity issues or errors. I do remember before Avengers came out, wishing, hoping, thinking maybe Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver would make a cameo. But hey, they're going to be in the next one, so that makes me a happy geek. My biggest criticism probably was the fact that I felt certain things took too long and other things didn't give enough screen time. The fighting dragged on a little.
Okay. But on the flip side, I think that also showed how hard they had to fight.
Absolutely. It all had a purpose, unlike Man of Steel, where I literally looked down at my phone for the first time in the theater.
Please, let's not.
I promise never to make.
I don't like Zack Snyder, and Man of Steel just pretty much slowed me down. I've tried to like his films.
I like 300.
Dear God, 2 hours of my life I will never get back. I actually fell asleep on the sofa while watching it. My best friend kept going, but it has Gerard Butler. I'm like, he's a cartoon, it doesn't count.
Gerard Butler was not why I watched it. It was pretty much everybody else in it.
It's just, no. And Watchmen, briefly, if you're going to adapt it, adapt. Okay, I'm done now.
Our little geek rant of the episode. So, for me, yeah, certain things took a little longer than I would have liked. But then there's way more good than bad. I do love nitpicking. I'm a horrible person. I'll admit that. I don't lose any sleep over it. One of the things that actually did really bug me was something that tied into the future film was there was an actress who Joss Whedon likes working with. She was in Much Ado About Nothing. She was one of the maids. Mm-hmm. And she got saved by Captain America, and she was supposed to become a romantic interest. They gave her enough screen time as an extra for you to go, who is she? What's she about? And there were even interviews where they talked about she was supposed to be in the Captain America Winter Soldier sequel and was not. I do not like things that are built up and left alone.
Well, I think there was also other reasons. I can't cite exactly what, and I probably should know by now, but I think it was supposed to go somewhere, and then for some reason the way it was supposed to go did not get approved. Mm. And that happens when you connect movies to movies. Just have this discussion with DC.
Oh, okay. We are not DC versus Marvel today, because
no.
That'd be a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah. No. But
so, what was your favorite part?
Aside from the Hulk Thor, Hulk Loki scenes, which, okay, I worked for a large corporation for a very long time, and I had coworkers who did not understand the world of the geek. However, they did always know when to be really nice to me, which was right around Comic-Con, and I would pretty much give them free rein in the supply room. They actually got exposed to geek movies through me, so it was kind of nice. And I got one of my coworkers to watch Avengers when I pulled up Hulk versus Thor and Hulk versus Loki scene. We went, Michelle, watch this. And she giggled like a small child.
You can't not.
And then there were days where I'd go by, and she was watching the Hulk beating up Loki. I looked at her and she goes, it's not Loki right now, it's such and such. And I actually laughed because I understood that knowledge. So
it's a lovely thing to just go, I'm picturing that happening to this person because I really don't like it.
What I liked how it was an ensemble cast. I liked the fact that Hawkeye was part of the opposition.
However, Jeremy Renner hated that.
I understand that, but it really made for an interesting movie.
It did.
And the fact that it didn't get out before I saw it made me ecstatic.
There was a lot of tie-ins that I was actually upset about. I play games online a lot, and I stopped recently. It was costing me too much money. I played Avengers Ultimate Alliance on Facebook, and a month before the movie came out, they were doing tie-ins that, honestly, a geek like me could read enough into it and actually get certain plot points, which was a little bit of a letdown because I didn't want to. I love going.
You chose to play it.
I chose to play it, but I didn't know I was going to get spoiled. So
you're not as bad as Ruben. Ruben will get up and walk out of the room before like they show the trailer for the next week. He actually has gone into movies knowing absolutely nothing about it. I'm like, really? How do you
I do know
avoid
people that hate trailers.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
yes.
So he loves riff tracks. So
Yeah, he actually is making it to the two Twilight movies, but
you can't say you made him sit through 2 Twilight movies. You didn't. You sat through 2 riff tracks. There's a huge difference.
It still had that Twilight reference.
It's the only way I can watch Twilight, because, you know, Twilight's crap. And if you're a Twihard...
sparkles like diamonds in the
Okay.
sunlight.
First of all, I grew up with Anne Rice.
Yeah.
I grew up with Buffy. I grew up knowing...
Isn't he gonna go poof?
Ah! Is all I have to say to
There's
that.
a video, Buffy versus Edward. Hunt it down on the internet. It's a beautiful thing. But no,
I need that
actually,
shirt.
there's really, I don't think they make it. There's really not a whole lot of problem. I actually, funny enough, I pay attention to music in movies. The score was wonderfully done.
Actually, I don't remember the score. I remember the score from Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Because I was actually paying attention, because I always said to myself when going into the theater, if they don't have certain songs in this movie...
No, that's a soundtrack. I'm talking the score.
Oh, the score.
It went really well.
Yeah.
Particularly like the last scenes, the battle scenes, and the credits. I really, actually, the music was perfect for it as far as I was concerned. I'm weird, again, like the Arrow score is wonderfully done.
She puts it on in the car,
Yeah, it makes me mellow while driving in LA traffic.
which is a godsend, really, truly.
I yell at people, and especially if you're stupid and don't use signals.
Yeah, you have a blinker. You know how to use it. You know how to use it.
Pick stick. It goes up and down. Pick a direction.
Even if it's the wrong one. No.
No.
That really does piss us off.
What else? Nitpicky.
Well, cinematography. I felt like it was okay.
Well,
It wasn't bad, but there wasn't anything where I was going, ooh, over.
But I was kind of happy. I saw it 3 times in the theater. Twice at ArcLight and once in 3D. And
Ooh.
3D is not my friend.
3D is literally not my friend.
Yeah.
I have a seizure disorder. We don't do 3D with Vanessa.
And
It doesn't happen.
I get migraines. And wearing 3D glasses over regular glasses is kind of a recipe for me not to feel well. And
Did I ever tell you about the one time I seizure in the theater? Guess which movie I saw. You get 3 guesses.
no, I don't know. Just tell me.
Transformers!
Okay, first off, that you paid to see it in the theater.
No. My boyfriend paid
Okay.
because it was what he wanted to see.
Okay. Yeah, no, bad idea.
Which, by the way, he literally just held me down and was like, shh.
Yeah, I've been around you enough for you seizure at this point. I'm just.
You could.
I'm just like this. Stop driving. Nah, we're good.
As long as she's not breaking anything, we're good. Yeah.
So, I know that sounds horrible, but
Hey, I'm the one with the seizure disorder. I could give a crap.
Yeah.
I actually prefer people not to freak out because that's just not going to
Yeah.
help anybody.
which is the key to know if you're around someone who has a seizure.
Don't put anything in their mouth. Don't put anything in their mouth. Let's
And
see,
keep
the
them-
third rule is don't put anything in their mouth.
And keep them from hitting their head.
That helps.
Yeah.
That helps.
Just
But really, honestly, the mouth part is probably my biggest
Yeah.
fear.
But that's our PSA for the day. If you don't freak out, you
The
make things
more
a
you
lot
know.
easier.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There really there really wasn't anything that stood out to me as, wow, I really am not happy with this. First off, I was so giddy at seeing a film by Joss Whedon on screen that,
Joss is boss.
Yes. Also, if you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, I had the
Really?
unique pleasure of seeing Avengers, and then I was at a symbols meetup, and we ended up being friends. We were going to go see Avengers because we had talked about it all night, and so we're like, oh, we'll look down to, ArcLight Hollywood. They weren't showing that. They were showing Cabin in the Woods.
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen movies with similar plots. And
No, you really haven't. Oh. No, you.
The more you know.
Yeah, you think it's this, and it's this.
It's Joss.
Yeah, so definitely see that. There really wasn't. I really didn't have any criticism. Overall, I walked out of the theater very happy.
I agree.
It's a movie that actually makes you kind of just happy and bouncy, and it
kind of the way Guardians makes you feel, but Guardians is a lot more funny, I think.
Yes, but Guardians still made me cry.
It made me cry too.
If you haven't seen Guardians, go
now.
My mom saw it in a theater with 4 people. She said, and they all, it's been out long enough. She went to an early screening.
Okay.
It's Arizona, where people's brains bake this time of year. Hi, Mom, love you. And she said it was perfect.
Okay.
She said, but we all stayed and watched it. We all laughed at the spoiler at the end.
Which
the best line that she said was, she said, oddly enough, Benicio del Toro looked better as the collector than he normally does in real life. And so I rolled, because that was
my one spoiler for that movie. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I just love when he does that.
Oh, he's just awesome. But yeah, Guardians, and also soundtrack. I actually did write a review on Guardians without spoiling the movie, so please go to Fangirl Nation and look for me.
There you go. So this movie, overall, loved it. My favorite scene was probably Coulson asking Cap to sign his cards.
Yes.
Because Coulson is all of us.
Coulson fanboyed very well.
He does. He's so cute.
I'm trying to think. There was something that popped in my head now. I'm like, Okay, maybe I'll come back. I've had a long week.
We have. So, overall, we loved it. We loved Losers. Which movie do you like more?
Depends on my mood. Avengers, okay, I'm a Black Widow fan. The fact...
Really?
Yeah. And the fact, actually, this is my favorite scene. She's terrified. She has been terrified by the Hulk. Her leg is trapped.
Yeah.
Is anyone near? And you see her pull herself together. And you have to remember, she has no special powers other than herself. She has no superpowers. Or at least in this incarnation, she has no superpowers after that. And she visibly steels herself for it. She pulls her leg, and she's like, I'm here, I'll go. She doesn't do it because she's super brave. She does it because it needs to be done. And that, actually, more than anything, is what I love about the Avengers. They do it because it needs to be done.
You know, in the same vein, one of my favorite scenes was probably her conversation with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is to be undone? That, for me, actually took me back a moment, and I'm not sure about the general populace, but I know what it means to not be in control of your own mind for different reasons. Being in certain situations, it could be a metaphor for a lot of things, and it's very powerful. I felt the scene was very well done. I felt it had the right emotion behind it. I really enjoyed that.
And that is what, for such a big blockbuster movie, it has so many very small, intimate moments, and that is important. Because a lot of people are, oh, it's an action movie. No, at the heart, Joss Whedon writes people.
Yes. He is a character writer.
And he writes them well.
He does. And props to him for going against one. One thing I do know of Joss is the fact that he likes sticking to his scripts. He writes his scripts. He takes a long time, and he gets a lot of feedback when he does it. He doesn't generally like a whole lot of ad-libbing, usually,
Yes.
but he knows Robert Downey Jr. and his style of acting, and he actually left certain things just open for Robert to do what he does best.
He did the part, I want to say it was part in Serenity, where they were in the vehicle going back after the robbery.
Uh-huh.
And faster, faster, must go faster. He basically left it like, Mal says, and lets it go. And, yes.
Mal. Angry Mal. That's what we call this. We call this the Angry Mal.
I actually wish I could show both because I have the domestic and
yeah, she does have both. You could see like a teeny bit of this one.
Yes.
But we're not going to do any movie.
We're not going to move it because
I'm klutzy, she's klutzy. This wouldn't end well.
No, it really wouldn't. But I like how he knows what he wants, and in the aspect of Joss has a vision, and he sees it through.
He's a brilliant person.
I was lucky enough to be at Comic-Con when he did the panel with J.J. Abrams.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I sat in Hall H all day long and was happy to do it.
For those that don't know what Hall H is, it's this very large room.
Look up Tom Hiddleston as Loki from last year. It sums it up.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And he walked out and he goes, let me just clear up any confusion. I am doing the Avengers. And there was a split second of silence.
A reverent silence.
And then, and at that point, I'm just now remembering that I was with my best friend, and she's like, I can't wait to see that. And now so much of life has changed. She still hasn't seen the Avengers.
What?
Yeah.
How? How do you live in this world in this time?
Liam and Watson.
It's just twins.
And they're adorable.
They're adorable monsters.
Yeah. Actually, I think they will be reenacting the Hulk Loki scene.
Wait, which one hits the other? You know this better than I do.
Here's the thing. Liam's bigger, Watson's meaner. So, yeah.
Little shout out to the little munchkins.
Auntie Steph loves you. Auntie Steph can't wait till you're old enough to take places.
I took my niece, Alex, to WonderCon a couple years ago. She's a budding little artist. Hi, Alex. Also, hi, Jordan and Drake and all my other nieces and nephews. I have like 18,000. I can't name them all. But she's a budding little artist, and I wanted to take her there to meet other artists in the Artist Alley. And I remember her, and she saw certain people in cosplay as Avengers, and that was what just drove her over the edge of, oh my god, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And that was so cool, was being with my niece and enjoying geekdom.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's great about Avengers, is that you can enjoy geekdom with anybody with this movie. My mom, not a geek. My mom doesn't get it. My mom never got it.
I actually just remembered what I was going to say.
Oh, go for it.
Yes. Okay, I did not like Thor in the first movie. I will be perfectly blunt. I was happy when he got hit. I was even actually happy when he got hit again, because I thought he was a ginormous tool. I actually liked Thor in the movies. I actually liked the Thor movies better after watching the Avengers.
Yes. Loki. Thor 2 really is our Loki movie.
Kneel before me. Yes, sir.
And down on our knees we went.
Yeah. Tom Hiddleston is absolutely brilliant.
He's a god.
But really, the Avengers actually kind of made everything a more cohesive thing.
What I'll say about the Avengers in that vein is that I felt, first off, Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, amazing. Just phenomenal. And I like him as an actor, and I actually didn't really see him as the Hulk when I was like, Mark Ruffalo, you mean that guy from... And I was like thinking of all of the romance movies I'd seen him in, and I'm like, I don't know. But the Hulk movies didn't work on their own. No. Thor 1, to be honest, didn't really work on its own. A lot of these characters don't work well on their own. They work perfectly in a team because you have the different personalities to bounce off of.
I would love to see a Hawkeye Black Widow.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be honest.
Absolutely.
I adore.
It would be her new porn movie.
No, because while I think Jeremy Renner's attractive, that's not why I enjoy Hawkeye.
True. I meant mental porn, like I'm not sure how to put that.
Well, no, I mean, I really just enjoy seeing those two characters because they play well off each other. Obviously, the way that Avengers was written, they have a lot of backstory, and I'm curious about that backstory.
Oh,
so I would like to see how they got from there to where they are in Avengers. I really would. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but just like I don't know if I'll ever be able to see Wonder Woman.
Oh, we can't get into that discussion.
No, we can't. And I'm not even a huge Wonder Woman fan. Though I am reading. I actually got talked into buying a Wonder Woman trade.
So, I'd like to end our podcast with talking about both the movies real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to add something I didn't plan on adding before, which was top picks for something other than movies. Just throw some random in there. I'm playing with it.
Okay.
We're going to see what happens. For this episode, it's comic book based. I'm going to ask you the comics you would recommend to viewers.
Okay, yeah, I've got
which
3 off the top of my head.
Oh, well then go for it.
Hawkeye, Matt Fraction, amazing.
Oh, she likes Matt Fraction. It's Kelly Sue comic.
Yeah, Kelly Sue comic is awesome. Also, okay, Captain Marvel. And actually, you know what? For a superhero, Captain Marvel, but please read Pretty Deadly because it's so much fun. But seriously, Hawkeye, amazing art, great writing, and they did an issue from the point of view of a dog, and it worked. So please,
it would only work with Hawkeye. It really
please read that. Okay, how many?
I don't
know. Hawkeye, Captain Marvel, Pretty Deadly, Saga. I'm also reading Black Science and Letter 44. Black Widow comic. I'm trying to think the ones that I'm like, oh yeah, it's here, I must read it. That's it. Hawkeye, Captain Marvel, Pretty Deadly. Sex criminals if you're over the age of 18.
Only.
Really?
Only.
Oh, really? Yeah,
my pick is going to be weird. I really like werewolves. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of werewolves. I very rarely see them done right. Sad fact. But Empire of the Wolf is great if you can find it. I found it at the convention in the Artist Alley. It's a new, he's up and coming indie, and he does history as if everybody was a werewolf. It's so good. It is. So last thing is both movies. I would, if I have to choose that I'm gonna only watch one for the rest of my life on a desert island, it's going to be Losers.
And I'm going to pick the Avengers.
And why is that your desert island movie?
It makes me happy.
The same reason I have for Losers. It's just so much fun. It really is.
Yeah.
So I think that's the end of our first podcast.
Once again, you can find me on Twitter at Stuff101 and occasionally at fangirlnation.com.
And you can find me at Crazy for Colts. And we have been crazy. And it's been fun.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.